Hello, loved ones. Thank you for joining me today. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome to the family. Today, we will review Married at First Sight Season 16, Episode 4, After Party. Shout out to Sister Domynique. This episode was called, Is It Warm in Here? To be a part of the congregation, please subscribe. To be part of the conversation, please comment. And to be a part of today's offering, please drop a like in the collection plate. And with that, let's get started. This episode was hosted, of course, by the beautiful Keshia Knight Pulliam, and her guests were Airris, Domynique, and Chris. Let's get into our first question. Keshia asked, how are you feeling about the wedding overall at this point? It was a long day for Airris, but he was happy to be with his friends and family. A lot of Domynique's family came from out of town. She felt good to be in the atmosphere of love, positivity, and happiness. Chris and Nichole instantly clicked, and their families got along really well. For Chris, that was awesome to see. Nichole has already invited herself to Chris's family Christmas. We then moved on to our first clip, and it was Domynique and Mackinley's first night together as newlyweds, discussing one another's sleep patterns. Domynique admits that her and Mackinley had great chemistry, but confesses that he is not her typical type. She likes very tall men with dark hair, beards, and a nice smile. Although when she walked down the aisle, she was pleasantly surprised, and it was good. We then moved on to our next clip. It's Jasmine and Airris waking up the day after their wedding. Airris says Jasmine slept in her robe and everything. It felt natural waking up with Jasmine. It was not awkward at all. He is still trying to figure out if there's physical attraction because Jasmine is not his type. When pressed by Keshia to give a type, he says he does not have a type. He just knows it when he sees it. His celebrity crush would be Lauren London. Airris says he is still in shock. He just got married to a stranger and is someone he does not know. It's a trial period and he's trying to see what's going on. We then moved on to our next clip. It's Nichole at the family brunch, and Chris's family says in the past, Chris is consumed with his relationships. The biggest concern is that things don't work out for Chris and he will take it hard. It will feel very personal and end up hurting his confidence. Chris says he is no quitter and known to be in a relationship far longer than he should. When it doesn't work out, he takes time to heal because it's not fair to the next person. I say kudos to Chris. That's a mature way of handling things. We should take time to heal. Also, I think it shows that he is not scared to be alone. Many people jump directly into a rebound relationship because they are afraid or don't know how to be alone. Meanwhile, at Chris's family meeting, Nicole's dad says Chris seems like a nice guy. Serial killers generally are. Chris knew about the comment and he overheard him talking. He also heard him say, Chris is a nice guy, but so is Jeffrey Dahmer. Chris says Nicole's dad was so proud of himself in that moment because he was trying to be funny. And also, he is very New York, so he has to put on that tough front. He does not want Chris to see the softer side and like he's got to treat his daughter right kind of thing. Domynique had no clue that her mom compared Mackinley to Jeffrey Dahmer until she saw the episode. She was aware that her mom had talked to Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper and said, you better take care of my baby. It's really weird that both parents went to Jeffrey Dahmer. I think Nicole's dad was low-key fun, but Domynique's mom was low-key serious. The dad's conversation is light-hearted, but the mom, her conversation takes it to a more serious tone. We then move on to our next clip. We see Domynique at her family meeting, speaking to Mackinley's family and saying, if my spouse is as committed to this process as I am, then I don't see a world where it doesn't work, you know? Mackinley's mom says, well, like I said, I just found it to be nuts. Domynique says, is it warm in here? Domynique clears things up by letting us know that Mackinley's mom has a very serious face, but is really kind. This is the same face she had the whole night at their wedding. At brunch, Mackinley's mom was really the overseer, and his sister and his best friend were the ones putting her in the hot seat. Domynique thinks it's just her face, and she is a really nice person. Domynique understands why Mackinley's mom offered him $50,000 to back out of the process. This is a very unconventional process. However, she showed her support by attending the wedding, and that says something. She asked for Domynique's phone number at the reception, and Domynique actually took a family picture with them. She says it was really okay. I can appreciate Mackinley's mom supporting but not agreeing with what's taking place. I believe as Christians, we too have to do that. We need to show love for those around us that may not ascribe to biblical principles, even though we don't agree with their choices. How we express that may look different in each of us, depending on our personalities and the circumstances. So I applaud Mackinley's mom for attending, although she did not agree with his decision. Domynique's girlfriends are excited. They are happy for her, especially knowing her track record. She has only had 2 or 3 seriously exclusive relationships that lasted about 2.5 years. Her friends are excited to see how this will all unfold because Domynique did not pick Mackinley. Her last relationship was in 2019 and ended because neither was happy. There was some shakiness going on, and she thinks he was talking to his ex. Domynique shared that her and Mackinley had to unpack how he acted at the airport when they arrived in Jamaica for their honeymoon. They had a rough travel day to Jamaica. Mackinley accidentally canceled their flight to Jamaica when he was trying to upgrade. When rebooking at the airport, was assigned a middle seat on a full flight after he requested that he not get a middle seat. He was very upset, and he was unable to sit with Domynique and had to sit near Nicole and Chris. We then moved on to our next clip. It's Felina asking Jasmine if she is over a fresh breakup in a relationship that ended 7 months ago. Jasmine says it is fresh, but the breakup is the timestamp. But mentally, physically, and emotionally, you move on before you actually break up. Felina thinks her answer is fake. Airris felt that Felina asked a valid question and that Jasmine's answer was genuine, and he gave a similar answer last time he was on Afterparty when speaking about his past relationship. Once Keshia objected that it was the same, production rolled the clip, and in the clip he said he was about 90% faithful toward the end. He kind of knew it was over, but was trying to figure out if he really wanted to leave the relationship. So he was mentally checked out of the relationship before it actually ended. Unlike Keshia, I think it was similar sentiments, but the difference is he justified cheating, and cheating is never acceptable. We should be mature enough to break ties before cheating. Airris indicated that Felina has not really met any of his previous girlfriends because he lived in California for so long, and Keshia pinned it right by saying Jasmine is just catching all of the smoke. Airris was glad his cousin Kimberly and his mom was there to balance out the conversation. His mom sees herself in Jasmine, and since he is an only child, this is her hope for grandkids. Chris says Felina has no ill intentions. She is just being protective of Airris, like Nicole's dad Mark is for Nicole. Domynique says she would have handled the situation similarly, and like Chris, she thinks they all have one protective family member, that buffer who says proceed with caution. If not, I'm here and watching you. Airris closes out the topic by indicating that he does not need Felina's blessing to say yes on decision day. His mom's blessing, however, is important. Airris describes his family meeting very opposite than that of Jasmine. He can see himself bonding with Jasmine's father and her brothers. They are cool and they have similar interests. Jasmine's mom is a sweetheart. She called him son and they took a selfie together. Unlike when Jasmine came back from her family meeting, she looked like she had worked a double shift. Immediately following the brunch, he called his friend Cheese. That's not his government name, but that is what his mama calls him. We then moved on to our last clip. It's Nicole telling Chris about her first relationship when she was very young. She was in a toxic relationship and told she was not worthy of love, and lucky that he liked her, she allowed him to burn her with a cigarette to prove she loved him. Chris says this moment meant so much to him because she was able to go deep and be vulnerable. Chris also shares that Nichole has an elaborate night routine. She does an eye mask, has certain lotions, and brushes her teeth with an electric toothbrush, and brushes about 5 minutes past when it actually turns off. He thinks that is adorable. The first night together, Chris and Nichole ate gummy bears, which Nichole loves. They woke up the next morning, cuddled up. Nichole was in his arms. We then moved on to our last question. Keshia asked, what has your spouse shown you that makes you feel like you have a marriage that could last? Chris says Nichole is very deep. She is extremely vulnerable and has a lot of love and care to give. She is vulnerable, which is the best way to get to know somebody. He feels like he has a partner. Domynique says Mackinley is very respectful. He's been very generous in helping her carry her 2 large suitcases around the airport. She says that resonates with her. It sets the foundation of being thoughtful and respectful, kind, and itself gives her a good feeling about going forward. I agree. Those small gestures speak to who you are at the core. Airris is very comfortable being himself, and Jasmine is very thoughtful. He went to work out, and when he returned, she had breakfast ordered with almond milk. And the hotel doesn't even carry almond milk. Well, that's all for this episode. What did you think? Were you as excited as I was to see Domynique on the after party? Do you have a new perspective on your perception of Mackinley's mom and Airris' cousin Paulina? Do you think Nichole and Chris lasted beyond decision day to Christmas? Let me know what you think in the comments. We then take a sneak peek of next week's episode. We see disrespectful Airris ask Jasmine, what's your favorite sexual position? Production is making Airris look like he has a one-track mind. It's not endearing. It makes it look like he is the same Airris from the streets. Nichole reveals to Chris that as a child, she never envisioned herself wanting kids. Now, I think that's production trying to create a cliffhanger. I think we have heard Nichole say in other interviews that she wants kids. Did Gina say that she does not vibe with redheads or men with gingerly features? It definitely looks like these marriages just got real. Well, until next time, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, live with intention. Be intentional.